Here's a highlight from a recent episode of Booked on Rock. He is the author of the book 1, 2, 3, 4, The Life and Times of a Recording Studio Engineer. It is Digby Smith. His career spans 4 decades, beginning at 19 years old when he joined Island Studios in London as a staff engineer. You mentioned Free, such an underrated band. Paul Rodgers, later of Bad Company fame, the late, great Paul Kossoff on guitar, Simon Kirke of Bad Company as well on drums, Andy Fraser on bass. You were a big fan by the time you worked with them on Free at Last, the album from '72. Talk about your experience working with Free. Paul Kossoff had your back in one incident where things got heated with you and Paul Rodgers.
Yeah, again, just briefly dipping back into the late 60s there. I had quite a number of Island records in my record collection at home, and amongst them were the first couple of Free albums, so I was a massive fan. And then, yeah, zoom forward a couple of years, and I'm actually in the studio with these guys, and it's those pinch yourself moments that you remember. And a great bunch of guys. We were all about the same age, late teens, early 20s. I had an affinity to their music straight away. I assisted. Initially, my first involvement with Free was on the Highway album as an assistant engineer to the late, great Andy Johns. When they came back to do their next album, Free at Last, they asked if I'd sit behind the desk and be the main engineer. And you know, invariably late night sessions, working right through the night till sunup. A couple of weeks into the album, everybody's getting a bit, it's the pressure's on. We can sense from the label that they want this record to. So it can get very emotional in the creative atmosphere of the recording studio. And I don't know, what is it, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, Paul Rodgers is by the microphone and he's about to do a vocal on one of the tracks, and I'm fiddling around on the desk getting the headphone balance for him that he's happy. He always like plenty of drums, plenty of bass. And worth noting, Kossi would never put his lead guitar solo work on until the vocal was recorded. That was his golden rule. He said, I always want to wait till the lead vocal has been sung, then I'll put my guitar parts on and I'll weave my way around it, which was that's how Kossi was.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So Paul's out there at the microphone. We're getting ready to run the tape, checking the mic level. I'm fiddling around, maybe with a bit of reverb in the headphones. Anyway, I obviously made the mistake of putting too much reverb on Paul's voice. So he flung the headphones off his head, threw them onto the floor, came storming into the control room and eyeballed me and finger pointed me, and he just lost it. He said, Digby, don't, and I won't repeat the language, but essentially the message was, Digby, don't ever put that much reverb on my voice in the headphones again. I can't sing with that much reverb. And he was quite aggressive, would be too strong a word, but he was vehement in his protestations. Little Paul Kossoff literally stood between me and Paul Rodgers, and Kossi said to Paul, he said, don't ever talk to Digby like that again. He said, Digby is the most important man in the room. He's capturing what we play and what we feel and how we go about it, and he's encouraging us. So don't ever do that again. And Paul Rodgers, I mean, short of us, but all welling up, it was like point made. And I said, oh, sorry, Paul, I won't do that with the reverb again. He said, oh, that's okay. Well, I didn't mean to shout. So we had group hugs and everything was great. And Paul went back out to the vocal microphone. I switched all the reverb off his vocal mic just to be sure. And Paul then delivered the definitive vocal, and all was well.
Yeah, that just shows you, though, the pressure that everybody is under to come up with a hit or to come up with just a good recording, and the artists want to make sure everything sounds good. You want to make sure everything sounds good, and those things can happen. Credit to all three of you guys. Or actually, Kossoff mostly, right? I mean, he's the one who came in and
absolutely. What a gentleman he was. I had another time with Simon, the drummer. Just to say, after that instance, it's amazing. Sometimes, like with any relationships, sometimes, words are said, it breaks the tension, and sometimes it's like a release valve, and everyone's the better for it. There was another time on a track that had sort of two sections to it, and when there was at the end of the first section, there was a sort of a 2-bar pause or a 1-bar pause, and then Simon's drum fill, and then we go into the outro section of the song. I forget the title, name escapes me, but we got the track all recorded and all the guitar overdubs and the vocals, and it's all good to mix. The idea was we were just going to overdub some tambourine on the track. Rather than one person play the tambourine, the idea was that 3 people were going to play a tambourine each out in the live room. So I had to set up like 3 and even a couple of ambient mics, 3 or 4 microphones, and record this orchestral tambourine performance in stereo. So such was the desk and the routing of the signal path that there was only groups 1 and 2 that you could patch into the stereo, but I didn't want to record on tracks 1 and 2 because that was Simon's drums. So what I was supposed to do is come out of the patch bay out of groups 1 and 2 and plug into, I don't know, tracks 13 and 14 or something. Of course, I did all that, but mistakenly, again, it's probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We're all a bit the worse for wear. I put tracks 1 and 2 into record. And of course, when it came to that part of the song, and there were 2, 3, 4, and I hit record to record the tambourines, and Simon's drums disappeared.
Oh.
Because I'd erased the bass drum and the snare.
Oh my God.
I hit stop on the tape machine as quickly as I could and saw my life flash before me.
Right.
I thought, I'm dead. I am dead. It's been nice working here. It's lasted. It's going to be back to the bedroom and the sellotape and the scissors. And I think it was Simon said, "Why'd you stop the tape, Digby?" I said, I just didn't know. I thought, well, you just got to. Sometimes it's in the world of engineering, if you make a mistake, if it's pilot error, you can sometimes bluff your way around it and say, the channel switch cut out, or it didn't go in record, the button's faulty or something. But there was no way out, Eric. There was no way. I had to fess. So I called them. I said, "Can you come back into the control room, guys?" And Simon said, "What's happened?" And I just said to Simon, I thought, well, I just got to tell him. I said, "I've erased your drums."
Oh boy. And
I thought, he's a tough-looking guy, Simon, and he's fit, behind the kit there. He's always like, I thought, this is it, man. This is it. Simon said, "Are the drum mics still set up, Digby?" And I looked out into the live room and I said, "Yeah, they are." And I looked on the desk. Yeah, all the drum faders were still where they were. Simon said, "I'll re-record them." He said, "I wasn't very happy with the drumming on the outro of the track anyway." He said, "So don't worry about it, Digby. It's fine." He said, "We all make mistakes, man." And he just walked out, put his headphones on. I wind back, hit record, and Simon just replaced the drums effortlessly, faultlessly, one take.
A huge sigh of relief.
A huge sigh of relief. And I felt, and I kind of, if I wasn't already, I felt a bonding with Simon from then. And I've kept in touch with him, casually over the years, and he's still working and playing and teaching and stuff. And he's another what a gentleman.